So, today first we will look into some of the theoretical part, that is what is object oriented programming and what are the features of object oriented programming. From next day we will look into the implementation of those features. Uh, Ideally, some of these things you have already covered. Okay, so we have already covered, you already know some of these things, but there are more to that. So let's look into that. So what we are doing here, like in Apex, it is not a procedural language, and this is actually object oriented, not procedural language, it is object oriented language. So object oriented language is nothing but this is called object oriented programming. So when we are actually looking into object oriented programming, what is that? And like, as you, most of you, you haven't covered procedural language, and you were just doing the object oriented language, you have started with that, so it is little difficult for you to understand the difference because you haven't done that. Only thing is that object oriented programming language and the initial days, procedural languages were mostly used to do our this kind of data manipulation, whatever we are doing. And till now, whatever you have written, those are mostly procedural language, something alike procedural language. You are writing that those things in object oriented language. Why I am saying that? Because procedural language is nothing but, depending on primitive data type, we were about to manipulate that data and do different kind of things like searching within that data, changing that data, all these things. But that is in more non-structured linear format, like everything I am writing in one place. Object oriented programming, what people faced at that time, like, that is not like, it is not very uh, useful, or I would say it was more difficult to relate real time object or real life objects within your program, like within, when we are trying to do this data manipulation. And why that is so? Any real life object that has some properties, some values by which you can measure, and it has some functionalities. Okay, so the basic one we have started discussing, that is with car, right? The first day, uh, regarding that blueprint, and then the physical entity of that car. Now, if I think about a card, then what I would have? I would have some specific data, right? Like how many tires I have, how many seats, what is the capacity of that car, what is the color of that car. So if you question with how many and what, with these two things, the most of the answers you will get or about the property of that object. Now, what it can do, with this question you will get the answer, the functionalities of car. So functionalities means it can go, someone can drive it, and It can move forward, it can move backward, or it can go right and left. It can do blah 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 things. Now, these are nothing but the methods you were writing, right? So, object oriented programming were more closer towards real life entities or real life things. To represent real life things, object oriented programming, where I have to define a class and where I will mm, uh, I will create object of that class and utilize that. That was more easy to represent real time entities. So whenever we are doing with real time entities, it was more uh, easy or more suitable in object oriented programming to work with that. So there are other things as well, like modular programming. So now we will try to that put that in a specific structure, and that code whatever we are trying to write, that would be more reusable, more scalable. Why? Because in procedural language, we were writing the whole thing in a single structure, linear format. Here, we have the options, like we can write different classes. With those different classes, I can just segregate the things uh, appropriately, and say I have to uh, work with circle, triangle, and rectangle. Now, this circle, triangle, and rectangle, I can just mm, create different classes to represent circle, triangle, rectangle, to make the things like what are the things. So for say triangle and rectangle, so one has three sides, one has four sides, and different type of triangles or rectangles that I can represent, and uh, different ways to find out the area, right? So that function I can write in different for different shapes. I can put the things in that class itself, right? So these are the things that we can structure it well now. So whatever is related to triangle, I will put in the class of triangle. Whatever functionalities I just need to build for rectangle, I can put that in rectangle, right? So it can be squared, it can be rhombus, it can have different things. So I know where to look for, right? So now when we are looking into specific type of things which are predefined, say string is specific data type, but string is also a class, right? In Apex, that is a predefined one. So if I am working with strings and I have some string operations, then right now I know in which class I have to look into. And there are specific things for system. So system is another class, predefined class, and I know what are the things are associated with system. So this is important to understand. It is that for string functionalities, I will not go into system class and I will not look for things in system class, right? So this segregation, and which is quite logical, that will give you better understanding, better efficient things, efficiency and reusability as well. So that is the important part of object oriented programming. So in object oriented programmings, what we actually use, classes, objects, that also methods. you know that as well, right? Attributes, um, state of an object, I will not say. Attributes is nothing but where you can store your data. Those are the attributes, right? And what are the principles of object oriented programming that we need to look into? So, this picture, if you can remember this, it will give you like you can always remember what are the features of object oriented programming or principles. What are those? Encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance. Primarily these four. Primarily these four. Now, before moving into these things, whatever I have discussed till now, is that clear to everybody or somebody has any question? Okay, then let's look into these features. Okay, let's say with abstraction. So, what is abstraction? Not exactly. I am not. Abstraction means there is a layer. Okay, with that layer, um, you will only look into those things which are actually required. Some of the things will be hidden at the background. Why that is hidden? Because you actually don't need those things. Like when you are driving a car, you need to know how you can drive the car. You actually don't need all the mechanical details of that car to drive that car. Obviously, those things are required. Those things are probably required who is building that car or some mechanic who is actually servicing that car. But when you are driving that car, you actually don't need to know all the mechanical details of that. You only need to know this is steering, with this I can go right or left. How that is working at the background, that might help you to some extent to understand the things, but that is actually not required. So abstraction is nothing but showing you those important things and hiding few of the things at the background. Like when you are driving the car, you know what you can do with the accelerator or brake, but what is the exact thing you are doing, what is happening at the background, that you don't know always. So that is called abstraction. So that abstraction, when you are doing object oriented programming, only those things which are required that you can expose, and you can hide the other details which is not that much required. Like say somebody has asked you that I need a program by which need a way by which I can find out the area of different type of triangles or say rectangle. Okay, so what you need to do, you know what is method now, right? How you can write the method. So what you can do now, you can simply tell by, you can write your own code in your class. You can only ask that person that, look, if you want to use triangle, like different functionalities of triangle or different types of triangle, you have to and the area of those triangles, what you have to do, you can just define the object of class triangle, and then you can pass these parameters to get the area, and say the method name is area only, or say area of this kind of triangle or that kind of triangle, whatever the name is. With that method, you can get the area. So you just need to pass these two, three values or these four values, and in return, you will get one numeric value, which is actually, just give me one minute. You will receive the area. So you don't need to know what I have written at the background to utilize this. To utilize these features or to get the area, you actually don't need to know what I have written at the background, right? So that is the concept of abstraction. That is the layering. Okay. So what in whatever layer you are working, you can concentrate on that part only. You don't need to know the other things, whatever is not required for you. Okay, if you know that is good, but you can omit that as well, just like driving a car. Now let's look into another property, which is encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? This image is very uh, good image. From this image itself you can understand. So within a class we can wrap or we can put together different types of variable and different methods as well within a class, right? So actually within a class you can encapsulate. You know capsule, what is capsule? It is holding something within it. So different type of things you can just put together, encapsulate, and that will build your class. And that encapsulation is nothing but a kind of a wrapper which is actually wrapping it up all together. And for encapsulation, you always remember, like, encapsulation is required because to actually represent any real-time object or real-time things, there are two different things. One is different type of values you need to work with, and different type of functionalities it will have. So those variables and those functions, if you can just club that together, then you can actually get all the features of that thing. So that is why this feature, this encapsulation is actually required. Now another thing is called polymorphism. Okay, what is polymorphism? That uh, poly means multiple. Morphic means polymorphic. From there, we have got polymorphism, this feature. Morphic means multiple things you are doing under same name or under same, um, or what I can say, different different functionalities you are achieving through one thing. How that can happen, or what we can do with that polymorphism thing. So we were just discussing about, say, rectangle, like different type of shapes, triangle, rectangle, these things, right? So so what we can achieve with that? So we can write methods or functions with same name but with different uh, variables. So we have written multiple constructors within a class previously. We have seen that, right? So what was the function, what was the feature, what was the way to handle that? That is, I had to pass multiple or different number or different type of input arguments, right, for that constructor. Same thing can be done with functions or methods. So uh, primarily think about this right now. There are some other things as well, I will cover it later. That is, I can define functions with same name. Okay. uh, Within a class or when we are having inheritance. So before polymorphism, we have to understand polymorphism properly, we have to understand the inheritance as well. But before that, for now, what is polymorphism? That is, with same name, I can write different function or method body. Okay, and where it is actually required. That's what I was just trying to come to that point. Like, say you have one class called shape, and from that shape you can just derive circle, square, or rectangle, right? Now, to find out area, if you have to work on that, like, you just need to get the area of any kind of shape. So, say you have a class called circle, you have a class called square, you have a class called rectangle, and for all of them to get the area, I have written different functions with different name. One is find area, another one is get area, another one is calculate area. Say I have written these three functions. Obviously, after few days, you will forget what name you have given for which type of shape to get the area, right? But if it is uniform, if it is uniform, like for any type of shape, you always know that whatever the shape is, the class name is that shape name. And to find that area, I have to use only one method, that is find area, for each and every class. Then it will become much easy for you to remember what you actually have to use, right? So polymorphism helps in that part primarily, except that there are other things as well. I will come to that later, probably when we will be implementing this with program. Today's class is mostly theoretical class. So polymorphism means something which has different functionalities but with same name. That is called polymorphism. Now the most important part, which is inheritance, and that inheritance will give you that more clarity of polymorphism. And another thing, that is access specifier. We will come to this now. What is inheritance? You all know the meaning of this word, inheritance. Inheritance means I have something which I have got from my predecessors, or there is some hierarchy, and in this hierarchy, uh, whatever is there in the low level or child level, that like those things are actually getting few properties or something from its root level, right? Base level. That is called inheritance in practical sense. In programming language, what we can do, we can have base class or say super class, and we can have derived class, sorry, derived class or child class. Just give me one. So there are so many words you can say: superclass, subclass, parent class, child class, base class, derived class. So uh, different names are used to represent this, but the concept is the same. That is, if I have one class derived from another class, that is, if one class is parent and I am writing a child class of the parent class, then what will happen? That in child class, whatever I have already written in parents, most of the features will come into that child class itself automatically. So on top of that, I can do additional things, or additional write-ups or additional methods in the child class. In base class, what I can do, base class, I will put only the common things of the child class. Like in child class, whatever I am writing, the base part will be written in the parent one. How that can work? Um, there are two specific things, specific, like there are a couple of specific features of inheritance in Apex that we will cover. So you don't need this one. Uh, so, what is the primary utility of this? That is reusability of code. So, I have written a code somewhere, and that can be utilized in different levels or layers. Mm, I just want that part. It is not there. Just give me 1 minute. So there are few things which we can do, and there are few things we cannot do. Uh, that I just want to explain now. There was a very good picture to what we can do in Apex. Let me try to find out that picture. If not, then I will only explain verbally. This is actually required, but not right now. I'm just giving you one link. Don't look into that right now. Uh, but that would be required for future reference. What I am trying to find out, I am not getting till now. Just give me another minute, and then if we don't get it, then probably I will explain that verbally. No, it's not there. Somewhere, geez, I am not able to find it right now. If I find it later, I will share with you. This is not required. Just I need couple of pictures. Yeah, there is. Okay, let's not waste time on that. So, what can be done with inheritance and what are the things which are possible? So, there is one concept that is um multiple inheritance. So, what is a kind of inheritance? For now, just forget about this word interface. Okay, just think this is another class. Game level is a class. Okay, and this is the parent one, and these two are the child. So think about a shape. So what is that? Like say one parent class is shape, and uh, you can have multiple child classes like circle, rectangle, triangle, and now again below that level you can have another layer. Like for triangle you can have different type of triangles, right angle triangle and blah blah blah. Under rectangle you can have also other classes. So what you are seeing, what we are thinking right now, a tree structure where it is coming from a root node and it is bifurcating at child level. right? So uh, this is one kind of multiple inheritance, right? So one from another you are going into. Another type of multiple inheritance, mostly it is called multiple inheritance is actually people think about this when one class, one child class, this structure you are seeing, right? One parent class having two child. Think about reverse of it. Two parents and one child. So I have one parent here, parent one, another one, parent two, and here child. And this child is actually derived from both. Remember, always remember, this type of inheritance is not possible in Apex. So, with this word multiple inheritance, we actually mean that one child class having two parents. So, that is not possible in Apex. Remember that one. So, don't get confused that this is also multiple inheritance, that one parent having two child. But think about that thing where you have two parents and one child. That part is not uh, legal in Apex. Legal means you cannot do that. So, what is the use of inheritance? We already have discussed that thing, that I can write a code in base class, I can just reuse that code in child class. So, that reusability thing, that is the I would say most benefit of inheritance, except that there are some other things as well, which we will come later. That is, now we will look into function overloading and then function overriding. To understand function overriding, you need to understand the concept of inheritance. Also, there is another thing. Uh, we haven't like till now. You got this part right. So, what is inheritance and how that works, right? Any question till this point? Okay. So, then we will move to another thing which is called mm, access specifier or access modifiers. In Apex, mostly it is called access modifiers, but this is called access specifiers in other languages. So, here you can say this: private, protected, public, and global. What are these? These are nothing but mentioning a property that from where it would be accessible. Okay. Private means that cannot be accessed outside that specific region. Wherever I am defining it without outside of that specific region, we cannot access it. What is public? That within that region I can access it anywhere. Okay. What is global? That is outside of my program as well, somebody can access it. When global needs to be specifically mentioned, say you are doing some integration, right? Say there is some Oracle service and you are actually doing integration with that with Salesforce, and there is one Apex class you have written by which you are exposing some data or something. Mostly, like that class needs to be accessed outside of Salesforce. In that situation, you will write global, where you will write protected. Here, inheritance comes into play. When you have this kind of inheritance, which properties of parent class child class can access? Obviously, public properties they can. Private properties, can this child classes access the private property of base class? No, they can't. Okay. Another thing, if it is protected, then these child classes can access the protected properties of parent. But outside of this class, outside of this parent class, this cannot be accessed if it is not the child, right? So how we can access the properties of any class? We can define object and we can directly access with dot operator. Correct. So in child that is not required. In child it can directly be accessed. But outside of child, beyond child, like if I am defining any class which is not child of another class, and I am just trying to define object of the previous class, I can get the public properties, not the protected or private properties. In child class, I can get access of public properties and the protected properties of my parent class. So that is the main difference of protected. Okay. Utility, we will come to that later. So another one is, I just want to mention that default modifiers. Always remember this. Default access modifier. What is default access modifier? By default, like I am not writing public or protected, okay, or private, protected, public, or global, whatever it is. If I am not writing anything, then what is the access specifier? Remember that that would be private by default. Okay. So this one, this article, you can directly go through, and there are Salesforce articles as well. Uh, so the second link, whatever I am providing for access specifier or modifier, you can look into this. And regarding object oriented properties or functionalities, that is simple. Like you can have multiple of that. Like you can just search in Google what are the features of object oriented programming in Apex. So that will give you all the features, and I'm giving you one link for that. Apex hours is also good for this. Okay, so quick recap what we have learned today. That is, what are the features of object oriented programming after going through the previous classes. Now at least you can relate these things. Okay, so what are those properties? Abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, right? What is abstraction and how that helps? We have already discussed. What is encapsulation? That is binding both variables and methods in same place. Polymorphism, that is many forms, one thing, but it has many forms. That is polymorphism. Like, I can have different type of shapes, and I can just use only one method name to get the shape or area of a shape. Okay, and inheritance, where I can have the base class and child class. With this base class and child class, I can just reuse the properties of base class in child class. So it will actually give me more flexibility, like when I am trying to reuse the code or some piece of code, right? So that is, this is the basic. I don't want to go in depth or in detail of all these things today, because there are so many things. From, you need to understand the concept first, and then we can just move on and we can just look into, or we can just implement these things within our code. That we will do later. So I have already given you these links, and I have already given you the uh, basic things. So I'm just giving you 5 to 10 minutes to read out. So two links I have provided in WhatsApp group. Sorry, three links. So first one, you don't need to look into right now. Okay. But the bottom two. So one is access specifier. That is the last thing we have discussed, and uh, object oriented programming. That is the basic of object oriented programming in Apex. Go through this quickly in next 5-10 minutes, and just let me know if you have any question. Otherwise we will uh, go back to look into the um, programs what we were about to write. So the assignments whatever I have given, that we will check. Okay, so I'm giving you just 10 minutes. At 10:05 we will start looking into the assignments, right? Yes, Shushobhan.
Sir, in access modifier, there are four types, private, protected, public, and global.
Hmm.
In case of global, we are accessing in case of any integration we are doing.
Hmm.
There we mention the global type, global access modifiers. But sir, sir, protected and private is not clear to me. Where we can use private and how we can use protected?
Private is, if it is private, it cannot be accessed outside of that class in any way. Okay, and protected is, uh, it is only can be accessed from the child class.
Okay, sir.
That's it. Are we good? Can we start looking into the programs, the assignments?
Yes.
Okay. So, Shushabon, let's start with you. Tell me, what are the things you have done, and where you need any help or anything issue you want to discuss? Shushabon, are you there? You were in mute.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, here I am declaring a list, sir, and I am putting elements in list, and then I want to reverse it. Hello.
Okay.
Sir, actually, I am here adding a comma with a string, but in output, sir, I cannot omit the first time I am where I using the loop. The first time this comma is adding it, like before 22, it adding first time in comma. How can I omit this comma?
Go back to your output.
Yes, sir.
So first element is a comma for you. For the uh, for your first debug also there is one comma, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's come back to this program. So you are actually adding the strings. That is not required, na? You have the list elements. So to reverse a list, you don't need to add them. So here you are actually building a single string for this, and then you are actually reversing, like you are picking up the values from the last and you are just adding it. So string, you are concatenating. That's why it is coming like this. So you only have to check when str is blank. You will not do this str plus comma plus list of string I when I is equal to 0. That's it. For that, it would be simple assignment, that is str equals to list of string I. If you put that if condition, then only you can just omit that first comma. But anyway, this is not the ideal way to reverse a list. A string you are reversing, that is a different thing. You have taken a list, right?
Yes, sir.
So you are reversing the list. Here you are actually from one list, you are reversing that list by adding that in one string. So your output is nothing but a single string.
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
here, if I use a string dot reverse function, that will be better for that program.
No, here the string dot reverse can work on individual strings,
Okay, sir. Okay.
right? So
Yes, sir.
here you are actually converting a list of string to a single string.
Yes, sir.
Put one condition when I is equal to 0, str equals to list of string I, and else str is equal to str plus single quotes comma plus list of string I. Then actually you can remove the comma from the beginning. Okay, anything else, Shravan?
Sir, yes, sir, I understand it. I will do later, sir.
Yeah.
One thing more I have, uh, sir, this one. Let me check the output first. Here is the same problem I have done, sir. What you have told in previous program. Here I am I am taking phone numbers and I am printing the output of the sir multiplication table 2, 4, 6, 8 up to 10, sir.
What is this? You have again, you have just added string and you have printed that.
Yes, sir.
What program is this?
Sir, this program is I am given any numbers, n numbers, and I am printing this output like 2 to 10, 2 into 2 4, 2 into 3 6, 2 into 4 8, like this.
Where I am not saying that. If you have to do that, then you have to do that multiplication and then you have to print the output. You have taken a string and you have added it. The same program, the previous one and this one, there is no such difference. Only difference is that you are converting from integer to string
Yes,
or
sir.
string to integer. That is the only difference I can see. Otherwise, there is no such difference.
Okay, sir. I check it later. And one program I have more. Sir, here I want to, sorry, sir. Sir, I want to print, I am want to print star, like I am inputting 10 star first. First line is 1 star, second line is 2 star, like these 10 stars. And after ending the 10 stars, I will reduce I will reduce this. This after this line, it will output will 9 star, 8 star, 7 star, 6 star, 5 star, and 1 star. I want to like output this, but sir, uh, I am actually not perfectly using the loop, sir.
You build your own logic before writing this program. Show me what you have to do in pen and paper, or actually just tell me that this is the thing but I have to do. So that logic you have to build first. I will look into that logic, not into this coding. So coding comes later. First thing is that looking into the tracing table, that is how I am going to write this program. You try that one and we will come back to this.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Okay. Next week we will look into this.
okay, sir.
Okay. So I believe Priyanka cannot show anything. Probably Ritobroto was busy in some other things along with Dipanjo. What about others? Because Shubhapon, Abhishek. Yeah, let me know if you are facing any issue. Show that. That is fine. Like, it is not something I have to tell you. If you have any question regarding those uh, assignments and while writing the code, if you are facing any difficulty somewhere, let me know. Otherwise, it is absolutely fine. Yes. Indentation of your program is pathetic. Please change that. Whenever you are writing any program, write that in proper indentation. And in Dev Console, you will automatically get the indentation. So you don't need to change that indentation anymore. Anyway, mm, what is math.mod? Wait. Don't execute this. What is math.mod? Because how that works? Go to Google. Write math.mod in Apex. Click on no. Click on the first one. Let it load. Just put Control F. Mod. MOD. What is this? Integer value. The first one. Click click on that. Click on that method. Read out. What is the purpose of this method? Got it, right? Go back to your code. Look what you have done. Line number 4. So whatever you have written, what does that mean?
Output is wrong.
Couldn't able to hear you. If you think it would be easy for you to explain that in Bengali, you can do that as well. But whatever you have written, explain me that statement.
Sir, actually,
Are you getting the point? Like,
yes, sir. Actually, num is equal to 11. So that time,
no, no. But I am asking you, explain this statement, whatever you have written here. What is math.mod? What that will do?
the return value is
What it does? What that method does? If required, go back to your to that page where you
sir,
where you were into, yeah,
return the remainder of the integer value 1 and 2.
integer value
So
1 divided by integer value 2.
divided by integer value 2.
So that means
So
if I am writing mod something comma something, then the first number will be divided by second number.
divided second number. Yes. So first number is 11. So automatically second number is uh,
What is the second number here?
1. 1.
So which number is divisible by 1?
Divided 1. So and last
What,
number is
what does it
11 last.
mean? Math.mod first bracket num comma 1.
Yes.
What does that mean? What it will do? This statement.
I divided the first number, sir, by 1. So return
Right.
is
So you are dividing any number, whatever the value of num, that will be
yes,
divided by 1, and
1.
you will collect the remainder, right?
Yes, sir. Correct the remainder.
So what is the remainder when you divide a number by 1?
So
Yeah, what is Shravan, I will come to you later. So because what it will return you when you divide some number by 1?
return, sir, 11 divided 1, I think, sir, because last number 11 last number is 1.
So if you are dividing 11 by 1, then your what it will return? It will return 1.
But
Any number in this world that is divisible by 1, what does this word divisible means?
the return number is 1 because
Show me division. Open any text pad, notepad or word or anything. You are missing very basic something. I'm not sure why. That one I just need to understand first.
11 divided by 1
Right.
equal
Divided by 1. What is the remainder? What will be the answer?
1 point. I think this time 1.1. No, nothing, sir. Actually,
Any number
no,
in this world is always divisible by 1. What does that word divisible means?
not,
That it will not
not.
give you any remainder.
Yes, at least 2. It's
If it is 2,
yes.
then it will go for 5
It's
times and the remainder will be 1.
remainder. Yes, yes, sir. It's fine.
Go back and change your code. Okay, guys. Anyone else? Any issue? Anything else? Because you execute this code of your own, and
Okay,
if
okay, sir.
you still face any issue, come back to me.
Okay, okay, sir.
Anyone else having anything? Having any issue? If not, then we are closing the call for today. Okay.